read yours.
So we've got some statistics here about VBACs in Australia compared to some places overseas, and in terms of successful rates, we're probably not so bad compared to some places, for example, like the US. In 1978, the US actually had a 1% success rate for VBACs, which by 2004 had improved to 9% overall. Whereas in the UK, since the 1950s, they've had up to 60% success rate with our VBACs. We've increased now to, I think we were talking earlier, about 40% overall, but really that's actually only about 15% of women that have had a C-section, because not all women that have C-sections do want to go for a VBAC afterwards.
So I think it was 30% of women who'd had a prior C-section wanted to attempt a VBAC, and 46% of those women achieved.
I did achieved it, so which
VBAC.
works out to 15% of women that had a previous C-section. So the numbers are improving over the years. There has been an increase. I mean, only in 1998-2000, the rates for VBAC were only about 24%. So going up to 40% is quite a good rise, at least.
A good rise, that's right.
Yeah. And I've got written here, the VBAC rate in Finland, Sweden, and then the Netherlands is between 45 and 55%.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of information here on postnatal psychosis, anxiety and depression. Lonely, paranoid, voices, noises, fear, thoughts going 100 miles an hour, hiding this from everyone. Woman gets scheduled and committed and separated from her children, hospitalised, in psych units without their babies, and social stigma of mental illness, and therefore postnatal psychosis. Even when it's over, it's there, it remains, this thin layer of fear. More mother and baby units are needed. And actually, I saw a program last year, I think it was, no, the year before, in Sydney. They've built a whole heap of mother-baby units for the drug-addicted mothers so that they can be with their babies. And they're all fully staffed.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're not using any of them.
Oh.
No, they're all empty. The staff are all there. Well, I don't know if they're still there, but they're all there getting paid each week. And just wanting some mothers and babies to be allowed to come in.
Yeah.
But no, they're not. Not allowed to. So our taxpayers' money went out to create that. It's filled with toys. It's got everything in it.
Yeah.
And it's not even being used. PPTSD, postnatal, post-traumatic stress disorder. Persistent, involuntary and intrusive memories, distressing dreams and out-of-body dissociative reactions after a traumatic event. It affects 1.7 to 9% of women who give birth. So by preparing, researching, having a birth plan helps the woman have a positive experience. Being flexible. Don't allow midwives to be dismissive. Have a doula. The 2016 research shows that by giving the woman and their partners tools during childbirth education programs, it improves the outcomes. It gave them a positive birth approach and experience. They were more satisfied. Women need to ask questions and give informed consent and an opportunity to debrief afterwards. Did either of you get an opportunity, were you debriefed after you had your caesareans?
I did.
No, I didn't.
No, yeah. I maybe this is the difference between
Maybe
where I
I've
was.
forgotten.
Yeah. Well, I was overseas, so
UK.
You never know whether the systems are different or the same. I was given the opportunity. We had the paediatrician came, the obstetrician came, and there was one other person that I don't know who they were. They were just some random person. I think it might have been an anaesthetist. They all came to sort of talk to me about what had happened and the reasons for it. And it was a very brief sort of chat, I think maybe all of about 5 to 10 minutes. And they just kind of went through like what happened, like all the different things that happened during my labour, and then what happened in the actual surgery, and why those types of medications or procedures were done. And it wasn't really it was a debrief for them telling me what was done, And it was good. I'm glad that we had that, but I didn't really have a chance myself to offload, you know, about how I felt. It wasn't that kind of a debrief.
So it was more like them justifying.
Yeah, it was more like that. It was more explaining what had gone wrong, and why things had gone wrong and where.
So they didn't want you to really ask any questions? Or
no, I mean, I had the opportunity.
opinion?
I had the opportunity to ask questions about things, but it wasn't so much a. It wasn't a chance for me to emotionally offload. It was more a, this is the procedures that were done, this is why they were done. Yeah. Which is, I think that was good. I think that's a very good start.
It was better than nothing.
Absolutely, yeah. And in my post-natal care, I had a midwife come out to me and we had a good chat about what had happened, but it's a different person that you're speaking to. They're coming from a different perspective.
No continuity of care.
Exactly, yeah. And also even just the type of training. A midwife is trained for a physiological birth, an obstetrician is trained for a surgical birth. So they're coming at you from different perspectives. So the midwife was very sympathetic and quite concerned about how I was going, because she obviously has a different perspective on birth than what I got from the obstetricians. Neither of them are wrong, they're both what they're trained in. So, but it probably wasn't what I needed at the time.
I have this memory after my birth. I didn't even know who the doctor was, so again, continuity of care wasn't there. So yeah, I had obviously quite a long traumatic birth. Ended up in this emergency C-section, and it took a long time to establish breastfeeding, and I think I was just really sleep deprived as well. So I was first time mum. I was quite young. I was only 20, so I was just trying to work it all out, and had just had major abdominal surgery as well, so still healing from that. Couldn't really move. I just needed help with everything. So yeah, there's one particular time, I don't know what time of the day it was, but my mum had taken my little baby out so I could get some sleep because I was really sleep deprived. So she took her out of the room and said, "Oh, you sleep." She put the no disturb sign on the door, and then I was just so overly tired that it took a long time for me to relax. And when I was finally drifting off to sleep, this doctor just barged in. He didn't really say anything. He just started pressing on my stomach to see if my uterus had
fundus was going down.
if it had contracted at all. And I was like, I started crying. And he just looked at me, he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Are you serious? Do you have any idea what I've been through? There's a no disturb sign on the door. You didn't see that. I just had a massive traumatic experience, major surgery. It hurts when you press me." And I was trying to sleep. And it was like there was no sort of, just no understanding.
No, that's right.
There wasn't even any consent. He wasn't even
consent.
Didn't knock on the door or ask to come in.
And you hear these stories quite a lot.
Yep.
I think at the birth march rally, that was a few weeks or maybe months back now.
Yeah.
It was in March.
International Women's Day.
There was a story that one person shared about their experience of actually having somebody insert a finger into them after their birth to check them without even getting any consent. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens quite often though.
Yeah, well, that's physical abuse.
It is, yeah. And I think it should be discussed more, because women need to be aware that sometimes doctors will come in and they're so focused on their job, they're so focused on what they have to get done, that you're not really
a person.
Not really a person. I mean, I don't want to sort of generalise, but perhaps they are having a bad day, who knows? But you're a job to get done.
Yes,
Something to tick off a
Get to
list.
be sorted out.
And so, like with your case, consent, they may just assume that they have consent for whatever they want to do, but without having actually asked.
So a lot of women are having the cascade of interventions. We've talked that induction's one reason for it. Failure to progress, another reason. 9 out of 10 breech babies are born C-section. 68% of twins are born C-section, and 88% of multiples. But it is a good thing to know that the APGAR scores are the highest amongst babies when they're born at term. Now, something that I wrote down here, and I really do question this, it was about resuscitation. And it states that 1 in 5 babies live born require active resuscitation.
I did see that too.
Did you see that too?
I was a bit confused about it as well.
That really made me stop and think.
I wonder why.
And I think
it is undertaken to establish independent breathing and heartbeat.
I think from what I've heard, like instant skin to skin really facilitates their breathing and their heartbeat and their temperature. And a lot of the time, obviously the cord's clamped as well, and the baby's just taken away. So I wonder how much that contributes to that statistic.
And perhaps even the passage down the birth canal stimulates the body, and maybe helps to facilitate their breathing. And if you have a C-section, maybe that does interfere with the baby's ability to take its first breath. It hasn't had that squeeze and compression to sort of clear the fluid out.
Yes, I guess this resuscitation of 1 to 5 babies is all of the babies. This is vaginal births, instrumental births, caesarean births.
Yeah.
So because it seems like a lot, 1 in 5, but perhaps
really
it's because there's so many caesarean sections.
30% of sections.
Yes, it's interesting. So the different types of resuscitation that they do, young man, is suction, oxygen therapy, pressure ventilation, endotracheal intubation, and 2% of babies require external cardiac massage.
I don't know what most of those things mean.
You don't know what cardiac massage means?
Oh, no, the other terms.
Oh, the other one. Well, that one, the endotracheal, that's putting a tube in through here to help with breathing.
Yep.
You might have heard of people doing it on the roadside by using a knife and a biro, the inside of a pen.
No.
So, somebody who can't breathe,
Who's
maybe they're in
choking
anaphylactic shock or something like that, and they can't breathe. And you're on the roadside and you just happen to have your pocket knife
I'd be too scared to.
and the biro, so you've got to cut the trachea, open the trachea, slip the pen in, which you've taken the biro writing bit out, right?
Yeah,
The ink bit's
yeah,
out,
the
so it's
little
just
bit.
a tube.
Just a tube. Yep.
And that way they can get air and breathe until you get them to the hospital.
I think that was duty held for me.
Absolutely. I used to look after the people that were intubated many years ago at Dandenong Hospital.
Yep.
It was my job to go around and suction.
I had heard a story.
Yes, it was a joyous job.
I had heard the story of a woman. I think she was a midwife. Maybe she did like home births or something. She had a kit with her at the time, and her husband was choking, and she did that to him so he could breathe like at home.
It's just a handy little thing to know.
Yep.
But another thing that has been used by mothers to their babies ever since time began, start of humanity, is that if the baby isn't breathing very well at the birth or not breathing at the birth, the mother places her mouth over the baby's nose and baby's mouth and does suction herself.
Okay.
And then spits out anything she gets, sucks again.
Yep.
And then perhaps blows in the baby's face,
Yep.
which gives them a little start.
Yep.
And when you get a little start, what do?
Bit of a reflex.
You breathe in.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's just a handy thing to know.
Thank you for coming today, Andrea and Sandy, and sharing your knowledge or experience with us. And I hope that for people listening, this has been a bit of education for you if you have experienced a caesarean section and want to experience a vaginal birth in the future, or if you're currently pregnant or whatever situation you're in, even if you're still healing from a previous C-section. I hope it's helped you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely to catch up again.
Yeah.